Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and if you were to ask the vast majority of the Blitz player base what is the most overpowered tier 8, a lot of them would point you towards the Grom. This is a pretty insane vehicle. 7 degrees of gun depression, incredible levels of frontal protection, over 3,500 DPM when close to its enemies, and it even has decent mobility compared to a lot of the tech tree versions of this vehicle. However, this is not my choice for what I would consider to be the most overpowered. I actually think I would more prefer to talk about this, the Object Kust. Now, this Tier 8 Soviet tank destroyer features a double-shot gun. Each shell deals 440 damage, and it has 2 shells, which means that in total, you are able to deal 880 damage in 3 seconds. Not only that, this tank has great accuracy, it has pretty troll armor, and decent mobility. You add all this together, and yeah, this tank is quite the dangerous one. You are able to output 880 damage in 3 seconds. Now, to put into your mind how much damage that is, the GSOR 1008, a Hesh-firing tank destroyer, when shooting both of its HESH shells and penetrating, is dealing 880 damage. In other words, this vehicle just firing standard rounds can deal the same damage as one of the most deadly tier 8s. And it's such a good example of why this tank is stupid. I mean, sure, you don't have crazy DPM at around 2300, but that's not bad. I mean, 2300 is more than plenty for a tier 8. And as I said, you actually have some armor. You will get troll bounces. The upper plate is actually pretty goofy, so if you play this thing properly, you can get a lot of bounces. And we haven't even talked about the best part of this tank, and that is the camouflage values. People always forget that TDs need good camo, and this TD has really good camo. You're sitting at over 80% concealment, which is enough that you're going to outspot just about every other vehicle that you get placed against. Now, that is huge, because being able to outspot enemies and outtrade enemies, well, it's going to let you get away with quite a bit. So we're going to start by moving over to this bush back here, because apparently that's what our whole team's going to do, even though you're in a light tank. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Well, we have the LTTB, which we get a 450 damage shell into, and now we're going to back up. This tank reverses at 15, which is fine. It's nothing stupid fast, but it's totally fine for what it is. Good job from our light tank, already dead from the enemy Scorpion. Oh, we have the Carnarvon over here, and again, you can see that crazy camouflage value. Judging that, I didn't even get spotted from the Carnarvon there. Let's see, is he going to cross? He does, and we get 437, and we get a high explosive for 611. We just did 1,000 damage to that Carnarvon. Yes, you saw that. 1,000 damage taken off of that vehicle. See, it doesn't matter if I was in a Grom. There's no way I would have done that amount of damage. I mean, I just wouldn't have been able to. And now we just reload for a little bit. And that's the thing. This tank really doesn't have that long of a reload for the damage it deals. So we have 4 seconds left. We get both of our shells back. We're just going to chill in this bush here. It's not like the enemy's going to be able to do much. Let's see. Our team is kind of leaving, but I don't really care. I can full health kill that Scorpion with my 2 shells. So if that Scorpion does decide to move up at some point, they're not going to enjoy our company. Our T-49 gets a decent shell into the AMX. I'm just going to keep waiting. I feel like we are going to see that Scorpion maneuver their way over here at some point. I mean, just feels like that's going to be the case. We have the T-49 up top, which I wouldn't mind getting a shell into, but doesn't look like we're able to do that just yet. Oh, there you go. We have the Scorpion spotted. And are they going to move up? Indeed they do. There's 565 into the Scorpion, and there's 618. A full health tier 8 now has 13 health and is now dead. Again, think about that. Think about the damage we just output into that player. That is pretty wild. Now we have to reload, and we have the T-49 over here, which is obviously quite the dangerous vehicle. T-49 misses me. We have to wait for our shells to come back before we do anything. And that is obviously a big problem, but see what we can do. We have the Carnarvon in mid, and that player needs to do something. All right, let's get a shell into the enemy AMX. We are going to die, so I might as well get a second shell out. We actually get a bounce from that player, and now we're going to maneuver over here because the Vipera does not have any shells. Let's go this way, and let's see. Let's turn around. Okay, is the T-49 going to go for me? Doesn't look like he is. We need to take the LTTB out. Unfortunately, as usual, tank destroyers do not have the mobility to deal with light tanks. But we did 3,400 damage. This guy is why we lost. I don't really know what else to say. Doesn't matter how good you are at the game. When you have a player like this, I mean, dude, all this Carnarvon had to do was move over towards the medium flank and support me, and we would have been totally fine. But unfortunately, that was too much to ask. And we did a really good job, as I said. The gun alone allowed us to take a full health Scorpion G and bring the dude down to 0 health just about. That is insane. There's not many tanks that are able to do that. And it's why having this double shot mechanic is crazy. And as I mentioned, you're sitting at 88% camo. 88% camo is ridiculous. It makes this the highest concealment tier 8 by far. It makes this higher concealment than most tier 9s. So you're not going to get spotted. And you saw that. Most of the times I was shooting the enemy, until they got within like 150 meters, I just wasn't detected. This tank having that much concealment is stupid. So let's see what we can do in our second game here. Already not a great start for me, as our team is all going towards town. Generally, when you're on this map, you do not want to go to town. It's not going to help you at all. But, oh well, nothing I can do about it, because I am a tank destroyer, so I'm a simple bystander in our team's decision-making. So I'm going to push into this spot over here. The floating bush, if you guys didn't know this, Wargaming literally failed with this bush, and it's floating. Like, you can see that. I don't know why they didn't put it into the terrain a little more, but we've got both the AT-15 and the Turtle. We have a Nemesis moving wide, so that's not too bad. Is there anybody over here? Well, our Nemesis has not spotted anything, so I'm going to move into this position in front of me here, and we'll see if we can get some damage out. Keep on going, keep on going. Now, the mobility on this tank is fine, as we can see. It has a top speed of 37, which is more than enough. We have the Turtle in the back, which we get a 467 damage shell into, and... okay, my bad, Wargaming. It's more frustrating when you miss a shell like that, because that's my reserve shell, so we have to wait much longer to get our shells and DPM back when I fire my reserve shells. So it's kind of frustrating when it's not even my fault, and the gun's just like, nah, we're going to miss, but well, we only got to wait a few more seconds, and we'll have the shot back. 3, 2, 1, and all right, we have my shells. I'm going to aim it on the AT. Boom, there you go. Nice 430. We back up. That's not looking very good on our flank over there. I need to reload for 2 more seconds, and let's aim it on the AT again. Boom, there you go. Nice 502. And again, you can see where the gun on this thing is really nice. We're outputting a lot of damage. We are not really struggling at all. We're going to reload again, and let's see, we have the Emil right in front of me. There is 467. The Emil bounces me. There's another 502, and that full health Emil now has 200 hit points. Now, our team's doing horrible, right? I mean, our Nemesis is getting nuked. Our ISU literally just needs to take that player out of the game. Like, what are we doing, bro? What are these teams today? Not really sure, but they're really bad. We need to reload for a few more seconds, then we'll have our second shell back. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and okay, we have our shot. There's the enemy, Kyler. We're going to back up now, and we need to reload for a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's angle. Okay, well, we don't get a bounce. However, we get a 450 damage shell into you, and I might as well just dump my reserve shell because it's not going to matter. Our team is horrible. We did 3,700 damage. I mean, once again, we actually have been outputting decent damage here. So, the tank is OP. This is why I hate Blitz sometimes, is because I'm like, yo, I want to make a video on this vehicle and call it really OP, or, you know, just have a fun experience playing in the game. And this is what I get. 2 back-to-back, 3,000 plus damage games in tier 8. My Caliban does 0. And I get a stock ISU who does better than 80% of my team. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? But as we've been seeing, the Kust has been outputting consistently, even with bad teams. Both games, we have not been struggling to deal damage. Having that double shot mechanic is just so dangerous. You win every single trade. It doesn't even matter if it's higher tier opponents. You can take the highest damage dealing tier 9 in the game, let's say an autoloader and a mill 2, And the Emil 2 is a 3.5-second intro clip for 400 damage. So I have a faster intro clip, and I deal more damage per shot. So in the time that an Emil 2 will deal 400 damage, I'm already hopefully backing in the cover, and I've taken 880 off. There are really no tier 8s that have this capability. I mean, there are tier 8s that have higher clipping potential. The Emil 1 and Emil 1951 have the ability to deal 900 damage in 6 seconds, but that's still double the time it takes for this vehicle. And because this vehicle is an auto reloader, if you only shoot once, you get your shells back faster, and you still have 2300 DPM. So there's really no downside in this tank. And again, with 88% camo, you kind of get away with whatever you want, which is the best part of the tank. So yeah, we're going to try one last game in the Coos tier, because I really feel like we've been getting robbed. Wargaming has been giving us the worst possible teams. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose again, but it is very frustrating when you try to play for the win, you try to support your team, and then they just kind of sit there and let you die anyway. All right, well, here we are. 3 mediums. We have an Astron, a 590, and a Centurion 1. We have 2 heavies, and then 2 tank destroyers. Okay. I mean, bro, really? Is that a stock KV Junior? It is. Okay. Great start. You know, always a great start when you see a stock KV Junior. Oh my god. So we only have 2 tier 9s, and one of them is garbage. Wargaming is yeah, I don't even know what to say, bro. It's like the game's trying to make me just not want to have fun today. All right, well, we're gonna knock down this bush. Of course, the Chisei in his heavy is gonna sit in the bush that I need to work. Okay, well, he's going in. Anybody gonna shoot him? No. Okay. One thing that is interesting about this vehicle is that it has very poor gun arc, you'll notice. It's not like a problem because you're in a tank destroyer. You've noticed it hasn't affected me at all, but like it is something to keep in mind. It has very bad gun arc. All right, we got the Astron over there. We have the 590. What are we doing, WZ? It's not hard to look where we're driving. Okay. There's the Emil. Oh, that shell is horrible. That went nowhere close to where I was aiming. All right, well, the Salino is spawn camping in a bush. Gotta love the heavies, you know, driving in a bush. Very, very skilled gameplay. And the Salino is going to drop down. Let's see if I can get some damage out. We have the Centurion aiming. Boom, there you go, 357. And I was tempted to shoot again, but there's no point for me to waste my DPM right now. We're just going to reload. And now that we have our shell back, we can poke the Death Star, and boom, there's 376, and boom, there's 444. That full health TD just got obliterated by me. And again, I mean, what do you do to counter that? You don't. You just don't counter that. Now, at this point, it's not looking great for me because my whole team has decided that they wanted to go over towards B now and flank into the enemy spawn. And because of that, I'm definitely not going to sit alone where I previously was. So we're going to reposition with the rest of our team over here and see if we can get some damage out. The WZ gets a bounce. Let's keep moving up. Here we go. I won't be spotted with how much camo I have, so I can just sit in the open, get a nice 550 max roll. And we do get spotted, but that's still pretty good. We got 4 seconds left, and the WZ is probably going to start facing all of the vehicles rushing him. All right, let's move up ourselves, and let's see, we have the Astron in mid, we have the Emil 1. All right, well, I'm going to move over here. Let's keep going, keep going. Astron is going to back up. There's a nice 400 damage shot. I don't really care if the Astron even shoots at me. At this point, I'm just trying to get out damage, so I'm going to just move up. Astron is either out of shells or only has like 1 shell left at this point. We have the Emil, which we get a nice 527 into. It's pretty good. Let's back up again, and let's see if I can get 1 more shell out before this is over. 3, 2, 1. Boom, and there you go. Nice 448. And then we have the Emil right here, which we get a 550 max roll into. And there you go. 3,663 damage once again. All 3 games were over 3,000 damage. Like, This is why the Koost is an insane vehicle. I know that there's a lot of people that sit there and will probably die on the hill of the Grom, but I genuinely don't believe the Grom would be consistently dealing as much damage as I've been doing in this tank. It's simply the fact that you have 2 shells that are able to output 900 damage. I mean, that's enough to almost full health kill a lot of tier 7s. And the high explosive on this tank is incredibly dangerous with 600 damage per shot. That's 1200 damage in total. I'm averaging easily over 3k in this tank with a 72% win rate, and that's pretty damn good for a tank destroyer. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. But as always, if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!